Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to present a short presentation because I'm having some requests from my followers that if it is possible that I could be giving out some short presentations as some of them are just too long. So I'm just trying to respect their request, and today I'm going to present you with an explanation of sickle cell, but I'll try to make it as short as possible. Now, we have to start from the beginning. At the very beginning, where everything starts, you go to bed with your wife seeking to have a child. And this, what you're looking at now, is sperm ejaculation. 500 million of them. Some can be 60 million, some can be 80 million, some can be 300 million, up to 500 million of them in one ejaculation. And they are all in a race to get to the egg, to fertilize the egg so that you can have a baby. Now, some of these will die on the way because there is a protection in the woman to stop any foreign thing that is coming inside her. Maybe thinking that it's bacterial infection or something like that. So she has a natural antibiotics in her body that will stop foreign things coming in that doesn't belong to her body. So all these sperms, or 500 million of them, most of them will die on the way before they reach the egg. Out of the 500 million, maybe 400 of them will be there. Only 400 will get to the egg. And even though there you need only one of them to fertilize the egg to bring about a pregnancy. Now, what you're looking at is the race. Some of them are X, some of them are Y chromosomes. As I said before, that for a boy or a man, you must have X and Y to become a man. Now, the sperm is made in the Y chromosome, in the short arm of the Y chromosome at location number 7. That is where the SRY gene is located. That is, SRY gene means the sex determining region of the Y chromosome. That is where the gene is located to create spermatozoa, to create spermatogenesis, to create testicles for you to become a man. Right. So now, in the next video, in the next picture, you will see the race has nearly come to an end. One of them has reached the egg. Out of these, you don't know which one gets to the egg. It's by chance. Some of them are X, some of them are Y, some of them are X, some of them are Y. They're all racing to get in there. You just need only one to create a pregnancy. Sometimes you could have two penetrating the egg, but such pregnancies do not last, do not come through very well because the child you're going to have from there will have three types of genes and you need only two genes, the genes from the mom and the genes from the dad. Well, if you have a third one coming in, you will have two genes from the dad and one from the mom. So you got three genes, which will really cause a problem for pregnancy. The baby you're gonna get from there might not live very long. Sometimes they do survive, but most of the time they don't live very long. So here you can see they have arrived and they're circling. One of them will just come in and penetrate. That's a pregnancy. That is how a pregnancy is achieved. Now that one gets in could be a Y. If it is a Y chromosome that gets in, it will find the X chromosomes of the woman and you'll have a XY and then that's a male child you're gonna have. If it is a Y, if it is a X chromosome that gets in, it will find the X of the mother, and then you will have XX. That's going to be a girl. So this is how pregnancy is achieved. Now here you can see when it gets in, it forms one cell, and that cell will start to divide, and this is where the instructions will start now to build you. It divides into two, and this is exactly two identical copies of the same cell. The gene divides, as I told you in my last programs, um, that the gene, when it copies itself, some mistakes can happen during the copying process, and that is where the mutation is all comes about. But most of the time, the copying goes correctly, and you can have two identical copies without no errors in them. And this is how it continues to copy to build you. Now, what I've just shown you is one cell divides into two. Now, those two will also try to divide into two, making four, and those four will divide into two, making eight. So you got 8 to 16, 16 to 32, and it goes up. And that is how it will build you. Okay, so you can see it in the next video. Now you got two turns to four, and then 4 will turn to 8, and then 8 will turn into 16, 16 will turn into 32. Now it is building you. This is how life started. Now you're looking at the beginning of a new life. Right. Now that new life was created by these two parents. Unfortunately, each of them was a carrier of a sickle cell. So they all sickle cell trait. A sickle cell trait is someone who carries the disease, but it doesn't show. The condition is not seen on them. They don't manifest nothing. They look very healthy. They're going about their normal life, but they are carrying the disease. So these two parents never tested themselves before they got married. They just met up, they got married, but unfortunately, both of them are carriers of the disease. So you can see here illustrated the father has got one good gene and one bad gene that makes blood. So you need two bad genes to make a sickle cell blood, which is bad. So let's say the R, capital R, is a good gene, the small r is a small gene. Here the mother as well, the capital R is a good gene, the small r is a small gene. It's a bad gene. Now, you can have these scenarios. Out of the family that you are going to build, in every four chances, you can have one child who inherits two good copies. Who inherit a good copy from the father and inherit a good copy from the mother. So that child is not affected at all. That child doesn't have the symptoms. It's not a carrier of the disease. That child is completely perfect. In another scenario here on the far right, you can have a child who inherits both bad genes. The small r from the father, the small r from the mother, and you got two bad copies of the gene that makes blood, and therefore that child is affected. So 1 in 4 chances you can have a child that is affected. And then another 1 in 4 chances you can have a child who is having a carrier. They will inherit one good gene and one bad gene. And also another 1 in 4 chances you have a child who inherit one good gene and one bad gene. So this is 25% chances, 25% chances, that is 50% chances. That is half of your children, half of your family children will be carriers of the disease. They will not show, but they are carrying it because they got the bad gene from either the father or the mother, and the good gene from either the father or the mother. So they have two. One is good, one is bad. But also in every 1 in 4 chances, that is 25% of your family will have good genes. Nothing will be happening to them. And another 25% of your family will have bad genes and they will be affected. Those who are having a sickle cell family, they can know that some of their children have the condition and some of their children do not have the condition. And this is the reason why not all your children gonna have the condition. Okay. Now, this is the condition that we're talking about. These are the red blood cells. This is how they look like. They are round and they are smooth, and this is how they travel. The red blood cells, they are the smallest cells in the body. They don't even have a cell nucleus where you can have your chromosomes and your DNA or anything. It doesn't have anything of it because it needs all the space it has to absorb oxygen. The red blood cells carries oxygen all over the body to supply oxygen to your cells because all your cells in your body needs oxygen, otherwise they will die. Right. If you are a sickle cell, this is what happened. This is a sickle cell blood. That is a blood that is like a sickle. This is what a sickle is. They use this to cut grass and things like that. The shape that this has, that is the shape that the blood cells are going to have instead of the rounded version that you saw earlier on. And in being this shape, they clogged together here. You see, they just jammed up here and packed up here and doesn't allow much blood to pass. So you see, less blood is passing here, and this will starve the other parts of the body where the blood has to pass, has to go to get there to supply oxygen. So this starvation of oxygen is very painful, and so sickle cell patients are having severe pain all the time, and this is why the blood cannot pass, cannot flow properly because it's like a sickle. That is why they call it sickle cell, because the shape of the blood cells is like a sickle. So you can see the sickle cell anemia is a serious inherited blood disorder that causes red blood cells to become rigid and sickle shaped, which can block blood flow and lead to organ damage. And this is what can eventually maybe even kill the person if there is no proper treatment. So this is all about sickle cell. This is what I wanted to explain, and I think this explains the whole scenario of sickle cell. Now you can understand what it is. Here are some references for students who want to search for more of these images. All these images are having standard licenses and are allowed to be used for educational purposes. They are all taken from www.istock.com, which has a catalog of images of whatever you want, nerve cells, blood cells, images of microscopic items, images of electron microscope. It has a lot of things in there. Most of them are having standard license that can be used for educational purposes. And it said the sickle cell diagram of the family taken from ResearchGate, which is a scientific world journal. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you all understand now what sickle cell is all about and how it is created. Thank you.